Greetings, developers. Hi, I'm Gary Stepp, Associate Director of Congregational Vibrancy for the Michigan Conference of the United Methodist Church. I've been asked to share about revitalization in the Michigan Conference. The best way to do that is do some screen sharing. And the first one I'd like to start with is a process that we created called the Local Church Assessment. Many of you know that paragraph 213 has been used to close down the local church. Well, what we did is create an assessment process to walk churches through, kind of to give them other options than just close down. So we try to get to churches long before they run out of money or can't pay the pastor, but they're on a critical downturn. These are churches that usually don't have the revitalization within themselves. They need outside help. And so this helps them see their current reality. It's just an assessment. The process comes later to help them to see what they can do next. So it's a guide that we send the churches. We have facilitators that walk them through this process. We usually send out 2 facilitators for each churches. We have a real detailed gathering agenda, as you can see, reporting back to the district. These are all district driven, and I'm basically the resource person for the district to create these teams and to help walk through these processes, and then create recommendations at the end. What's really important, and I wanted to show you and highlight in this document, is possible options. So when we're working with churches, continue as you are. That usually never happens, but could be a new church start, could be a restart. These have all happened in the Michigan Conference, by the way. We have roads to vibrancy. Is there a road, or we call baby steps to vibrancy? At this juncture, the church is usually struggling. Is there a traditional merger or a vital merger that we could work with? We have quite a number of churches right now working in that area. Is there a cooperative ministry? Rather than just trying to save money. We've seen rural congregations cooperate in youth ministry. That's been very effective. Adoption, we've had adoptions come out of this process too. Churches realize they don't want to do this anymore, and they're usually adopted by a larger church with a better DNA, and they're excited about it. One adoption, we went from 40 in attendance to over 400 in attendance in a matter of 2 years. So adoptions can work. Emergent church, anything that could be emerging, see what the Holy Spirit can do. And continuing or legacy or discontinuance, obviously we do close churches through this process. And a lot of them, it's hospice care. They're ready to close, and they're just giving permission to close. And so we found this process to be just very healthy and helpful. In so many different ways. What there is at the end is just 5 different worksheets that they work through. We walk them through the life cycle of the congregation. We walk them through the different worksheets, ministry and identity of the church in that community, areas of influence, potential for ministry, and then the financial one, evaluation of finances and facilities. This document is available. I've spread it around the different conferences throughout the country. Worksheet 5 is an evaluation of all the different worksheets, and there our team, district team, creates recommendations for each church. What I'm finding is we're getting more and more detailed in recommendations, almost creating a strategic plan for them for next steps, and then we assign them a coach to help them move forward. It's been a great process. The other thing I wanted to show you was our website. You go to our Michigan website and you go to resources. The website, the conference has given me a revitalization link on the resources. And so if you click on that link, it brings you to a nice landing page. And that's where I can promote any resource that I want that is really being promoted at the time. This one is Readiness to Launch. Kathy Townley and I are partnering in this process of revitalization for worship. And then if you go to the church revitalization work toolbox, you'll find all our revitalization work is here. And it's called Roads to Vibrancy. It's kind of an overarching term for all that we do. Now, if you move through here, I've created categories for vibrancy and revitalization. The first one is leadership. We are creating workshops in each of these areas, and we've just created one for team building based off of Lencioni's book, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. This is a 2-part workshop. Facilitator comes in, also coaches the church. I have a few facilitators that are ready to do that. Creating a culture of renewal. These are all hot links, by the way. That's an outside contractor. It's a 3-year process for pastors to gain leadership skills. The first one is increasing their emotional intelligence. The second year is really how to create a vision. And then the third year in this process is how to move, align, and move culture to move it forward to make that vision happen. It's an excellent process. I went through it, helped me tremendously, and we recommend that. That's, pastors just sign up, and laity can sign up on their own. The next one is something I developed 8 years ago with another pastor. It really was born out of New Church, but it's now New Church and Revitalization. It's our Reach Summit, and we call it the Reach Movement now. If it's a hot link, you click on that. It's a large event that we put on every year. And the Reach Movement has workshops, but this is very unique. But if you see that Reach Network groups, each workshop that we have at this event is related to a longer term network group. We believe in long-term groups, long-term cohorts, long-term training leads to transformation. A workshop that is an hour long or 1 day long, we just have not seen benefits from that. So if you go to the Reach Summit and you go to the workshops, each workshop then is related to a network group, which is, and you'll see we have many different workshops. We brought in 2 key people for our keynotes, Jake Mulder, and he'll be speaking on, how to attract youth. And then the other one is, many of you probably know, is Rachel Gilmour. She's in Path 1 now, overseeing the planters throughout the country. She's dynamite. We're really excited to have her here. And then if you look through, we've just taken some of our staff and people, pastors from the community. We have one on youth. We have one on cultural vibrancy. We have one on children's ministry. We have one on Grow the Church Where You Are. Dynamic leader Brad Kelly-Janin, one of our large church pastors, is leading pastors through how to, lead through change, lead through growth, which can be difficult, as many of you know. Lay leadership with Laura, practical hospitality from Cornerstone. They're also awesome in hospitality. And then Readiness to Launch, what I talked about earlier. I've partnered with Kathy Townley, and we've actually developed this resource for online and in-person worship. And then Rethink Your Vision, I'll be doing one on Church Unique, which I'll explain in a second. And so those are some of the things that we're working on just through the Reach event. And then if you keep moving down on the website, another item that I get a lot of calls for is the change the governance of the church. And so I have a workshop that I do to come out to the church and lead them through a process, answering any questions about the new governance model. And you can see on each section, like on leadership, we have Canoeing the Mountains, excellent book, Dream Like Jesus, and just many more books that we recommend. The same is for governance. There's 2 books that we recommend: Simple Governance, Liberating Your Church for Mission by Stephen Ross. He was a developer out of Oregon. He's now retired, but big picture view for sure. But Mission Possible by Kay Cotan and Blake Bradford. I would say it's an excellent book for step by step. How do we get there? What do we need to know? And they've been just an excellent, Kay has been an excellent resource for so many different things. And now this book has been great. We promote it widely. The next one is Vision and Alignment. It's church unique. It's developed by Will Mancini. We are all in with their group. They're called Oxana. We have 20 facilitators that are trained in this process. So if you click on the Church Unique brochure, you can see that, yes, there's fees for the church, so they have buy-in, but it's also a long-term shifting culture process. So there's 13 sessions. The first sessions are creating that vision frame, and then the next sessions are creating a vision to move forward. So how are we going to be as disciples, as as we shape ourselves in God's image, and then how are we going to move forward to transform the world? And we just find an excellent process. We have about 15 churches in this process right now. We started it last year, and obviously due to COVID, we've had some issues, but we do this online or we do this on Zoom, and now we have restarted that in person too. And the books on this particular resource is Church Unique by Will Mancini, and also God Dreams. Those are the two books related to those that workshop above, or that long-term learning above. Another one is just resources that we have on the website. Obviously, mission and outreach. We have Mission Insight. We're still all in with Mission Insight. I know there's others out there that conferences are looking at. We are too. Fresh Expressions, that's mainly new church, but I also have it here as a hot link. Some other things that we have on the website is another workshop on spiritual gifts. Somebody goes out to the church, helps process spiritual gift inventories for the leaders or the whole church. And then that resource I talked about, Readiness to Launch, that's a unique resource. I actually started this 8 years ago on how to start a second service. And this has developed, I've partnered now with Kathy Townley, and we are working on in-person and online. Obviously with COVID, this is so important that we've created this online resource to help churches really create a hybrid church, an online church, and as we move to post-COVID, really creating that new worship experience in person. And I think it's great for hybrid church. We're really excited about, and we have many churches signed up for that this fall. We also put on webinars here. These are from Discipleship Ministries. Copyrights and licenses found very helpful for a lot of churches. Live streaming platforms. Was okay. I actually didn't understand the platforms they were talking about. Then we have found one out of the Missouri Conference on online hospitality, which is excellent. And also a resource that came out of Path One, it's called Relaunch. Paul Nixon kind of headed that up, and now they have a Relaunch #2 coming out, and I'll get that online too. It's just conversations with pastors as they go through the process of relaunching the church, dealing with COVID, trying to figure out next steps, and trying to create that, let's create a hybrid church, let's create online and in person and see what that new church looks like. We also have, just books on preaching and hospitality, but obviously some of those network groups that I talked about earlier in the Reach Network actually hit on these. And so we're covering a lot of bases. I know that's a lot of information. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to me. I just pray and bless you in your ministry as you move forward. God bless. Thanks for listening.